Hi there. Are you looking for an easy but highly effective way to track your savings and net worth but not sure where to start? Well, keep watching because today I'm going to walk you through how I built this dashboard here on screen where I track my savings, goals and net worth once a month, and I'll share the template with you for free. So if you want to follow along and build your own, or you simply want the pre-made template, then go to the link below to download the file and keep watching. Let's get into it, So welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to Everyday Excel, where I share my Excel knowledge with you to help improve your Excel skills. So if you're looking to do exactly that, then check out my channel and consider subscribing. Today we're going to be setting up a net worth tracking dashboard for your own personal finances. I think this is a very important habit to get into to help you toward financial freedom. There's a quote along the lines of, you can't manage what you can't measure, or if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. For example, if you're trying to lose weight, you track what you eat, right? So why not track your finances? You shouldn't have your head in the sand and ignore it and just hope for the best. So let's start today. Keep watching and let's get you on the right track. So this is my dashboard here that I track on a monthly basis. I've anonymized the figures, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like populated with data. I started doing this at the beginning of 2019, and once a month I track all of my different savings and investments to work out what my current net worth is and track it over time. So this chart here just shows a breakdown of the different things I have. So the dark blue here is cash levels, and here we have my investments, and then KiwiSaver is a New Zealand pension scheme, and I have a UK pension as well on these top two, and then this light blue line on the top is the total net worth. So up the top here you have just some tiles of information that I'll show you once it's fully populated what it will look like, but it will tell you in a figure what your latest entry is in terms of your current net worth. It will tell you what the change has been plus or minus since last month or the last time that you entered. It will also tell you since this time last year and the percentage growth since last year. This next tile here is so you can set up a goal for your year. So at the beginning of the year you can set yourself a target goal. Then you'll calculate, you'll enter what your starting position was, and this will tell you how many percentage you are complete. Over on the far right is your sort of cash levels, so I think it's important that you keep some cash on hand for liquidity purposes, so for emergencies, things like that. You should always have some money away for a rainy day, and then above that you can be investing it. So this will show what your current cash levels are and what it's been over the last 12 months on average. We then have a breakdown chart here of just the different mix of your assets at this particular point in time, and this is just a chart to show how much cash you have in percentage terms versus a target that you can set. There's also a chart underneath here that will show current breakdowns, which I'll show you later. So this is your dashboard that you would view all your information on. Once a month you would come in here, you can click this button here, it will take you to your net worth tab, and it's a table and you just fill out all your details. So my details are underneath here, and I'll show you how to fill that in shortly. There's also a budgeting tab here which I'll leave in for you guys, and it's got this waterfall chart, so you can see here, for example, if your income was $1,000 and you have all of these expenses, what is the amount left that you can save? So I'm helping you from that aspect as well. So this is the spreadsheet that we'll be looking to build today from scratch, and you can work out if you want some other charts, you can create those as well. I'll set it up like this so you know how to do it, and then you can just come in and populate it with your own information. So let's get to it. This is a blank version of that spreadsheet. You can come in and colour it however you like. I don't mind, it's completely up to you, but we'll start from here. So the first thing we want to do is input some data. So we'll come to our net worth data tab, and I've set up a table here for you to input your data. So what you'll do is you'll come in here and you'll enter the date it is. So let's say we're doing this for March 2019. You put that in and then you enter all your figures. So I'll put some fake data in here very shortly and I'll speed that up for you so you can see what it looks like. But basically up here you can set what the different fields are that you want, assets and liabilities, and then this will pull through into your chart. So I have cash, we might just have one cash field, so this one could be cash. So we'll have this cash field here. You can have your investments if you have any. You can have your pension or KiwiSaver, whatever you want to call it. Maybe you have a student loan, so our student loan would come in as a negative number. You may have a personal loan or credit card debt, those sorts of things as well. This is a good place for you to track these and make sure that you're reducing them. And you could also potentially own a house, so we're not going to show the gross assets and liabilities for your house because it will distort the chart, but we'll show the house equity essentially. So let's say the house was worth 500,000 and you had a 400,000 mortgage, then we want to show your house equity of 100,000. So I'll skip ahead to put some data in now. Okay, so here we go. I've entered just some fake information here. So let's say this was someone's situation over time. They're slowly building up some savings. They've started investing as well. They have a pension that's been growing over time. They've got a student loan that they're paying off. And they have a house that they're slowly paying the mortgage off as well. So let's build our dashboard based on this data here. So we have a tab here called pivots that I've set up a lot of the information already. So it will help speed up the process, but I'll walk you through all of the pieces. But you can skip along if you don't think it's important, but continue watching for now. So initially we're going to go to pivots here, and in this cell here I want us to create a pivot table and pivot chart. So if I come back to my net worth data, and I'm going to highlight my whole table, and I'm going to insert pivot chart and pivot table using the drop down here, and it will say, do I want it to be this table 1? Yes, I do. I want it to be an existing worksheet, and I'm going to choose the location of it. It's going to be B1 on my pivots tab. So if I hit OK, I've got my pivot table there now, and this is where you can choose what fields that you want to show. So we will put cash in here. We will put our investments, our KiwiSaver, our student loan, our house equity, and total net worth. And then down the left hand axis side, I'm going to put my date in. So once you've inserted this here, you'll see we've got dates in our rows. I just want you to right click it and hit ungroup, and then this is going to make sure that it's in proper date order in the way that you've set it out. So I'll quickly format this, format it into a currency, and let's just keep it in dollars for now. And then we have our chart here. So it looks a bit funny at the moment, but we're going to take that. So using Control X, we'll cut it. I'll click here and we'll paste it. So this is going to be our value over time. So what do we need to do here? So I want to right click and hide all field buttons on the chart. Then we have it sitting like this, and I want to show this as a stacked line chart. So to do that, we come up to design and we hit change chart type, and I'm going to go to a line to an area chart here, and we want this stacked area chart here. So hit OK, and it's going to come out like this. So we don't want, the thing we don't want is to count our net worth twice. So the net worth needs to be on its own axis. So I'm going to change chart type. I'm going to change this to a combo chart, and I want everything to be stacked area except for the total net worth, which is going to stay as a line. So now we have our chart here. So now we have our chart looking like this. Now I just want to rename all of these fields quickly, so I'll show you how to do one of them to get rid of sum of at the front. So you're going to come into here and right click sum of cash in this example, go to value field settings. And what you're going to do is just delete that, but you have to put a space after cash or after the word, so it doesn't think it's the same field as what you've put in. And then we're going to hit OK, and it's going to rename it. So I'll just quickly go through and do these ones. Awesome, so now you can see that we've got rid of that there, and we've got our chart looking nice like this. So I'm going to change the font of the chart to Railway, which is what the rest of this sheet here is. I'm going to increase the font size slightly, and I'll format this axes so it's in thousands. So go display units, thousands, and then number down here, I'm going to put a K on the end of it. And with the axes down here, I'm going to format this, change this to on tick marks. I want to get rid of that thousands. I'm also going to put my legend at the top. So go legend, top. That will just make that look a bit nicer there. Remove my border. And then I want this to be a bit nicer colours, so if we change the theme, maybe I'll change it to some blues like this, but I want my line to stand out a lot more, so let's make it a blue like this. I'm also going to make it a bit bigger, and let's put some markers on it. So if I come up here to marker, got marker options, let's do a built-in one. I like the diamonds, and we can make those a bit bigger. Maybe the width of that can be a bit smaller, and we'll do a white fill. So now you've got your net worth chart set up here. Now I'm going to take the house equity out for now, just so it shows a bit more change. So I can come in here, take that out, and I'm just going to delete this for now. So here I've just changed it a little bit. I've just assumed that the student loan was paid off. Let's say somehow you managed to get it paid off without using your cash, and that come up over time. So I just got to put that marker back on. I'm also just going to apply a little bit of shadow to this piece here. So if I come up here and go shape effects, I can put a shadow on it like this. If it looks a bit nicer, gives it just some extra depth. There we go. So I'm just going to show you how to format this x-axis so it looks a bit nicer. So we're going to click this here so that your x-axis is highlighted, and then up here on the home tab you have under alignment, you've got this orientation button, and we want to rotate the text up, so that's going to change it so it's standing up on end. And then we're going to come to your pivots field, and in here you're going to have your field settings. So if we show the field list here, it's going to bring up this, and then if I click that, I have field settings, and down here you have number format. So if I hit number format, it's going to bring up what format that is, but we want it to be a custom format. So if I click custom, then in this box here, just remove the word general, and I'm going to put M for month. And if you do that 3 times, it will abbreviate it to the first 3 letters, and then dash YY, and that will format it nicely like we have it here. So if I hit OK and OK, and I come back to my dashboard, now we've got it nicely formatted on our net worth tracking bar. So that's how we create this first chart here. What I also want to show you how to do, so now as you can see, some of this information is being populated. So you can see what the current net worth is of 38,000, which is here. It's gone down in the last month. This was when COVID happened, but this is also my fake data, so sometimes it will happen. But you're up 25,000 in the last year, and that's 185% higher growth. If your goal was starting with nothing and your target was 50,000 by the end of the year, 76% complete, which is great. And the current cash component is 15,000, so that's very good. So I'm just going to hit save on that. So another thing I want to show you to insert is a timeline. So if we click insert, we can insert a timeline based on date, and then we're going to have this down here. If you click here, you can switch what view you want it to be, but what this is going to allow you to do is look at different periods of time, especially as this grows over time. You might not want to look back to the very first entry you put in. Maybe you just want to look at the last 5 years. So as you build this data over time, this is going to give you the flexibility to change the period that you want to look at this chart on. So I'll leave that there for now. And we'll move on to create some of these other charts here. So I would normally create all my charts as pivot charts linked off the pivot table. Sometimes this isn't actually optimal. So in this situation here, I want to be showing my latest position in terms of breakdown and current balances, and to do that using pivot charts can be quite complex. So what I like to do is this section over here is going to relate to all those charts. It's going to be the information view of tiles, and what it does is looks up the current period. So it looks at whatever the maximum date is in the whole table. So it's coming back. If I show you what it's doing, it's showing me the maximum date here. So the highest number, so that's obviously going to be your latest entry. And that's where if I do a lookup on this, that's where our net worth comes from, our 38. This is where this is saying what was our last entry, so last month. This is saying what's the difference. And this formula basically just has a concatenation, and these uni characters are either the plus or minus. So you see the green one here, if I zoom in a bit. So you see the green one here goes green and has a plus symbol if it's up, and if it's down it will have a negative symbol and be in red. So to set up the breakdown chart, we're going to have it here, and what I need to do is have this equal to the headings that I want. So I want it to be these 4 headings here. So if I come back to my data, I want to show, so I just want to show these 4 things here, and I'm going to say equals transpose of these headings, and this is going to give a breakdown. And then using this here, I can go insert and create a donut chart, and I'm going to cut that and stick it on my dashboard. I'll just do some quick formatting. And here now we have our next chart set up, and you can format this how you want to. Maybe you want to put a bit of shadow on it. I quite like that on a lot of the things I do. And now we've got our second chart here showing breakdown of your current net worth. Cool, so now we have that one set up. We're going to set up the current balances. So what I've done here is I'm pulling through all the different pieces that I want, and so just by name I'm pulling through what they are based on the current date, which again is taken from our current period, and I'm going to rank those. So this is just doing a rank, and then over here I'm doing it in 1, 2, 3, 4 order, and I'm just going to pull across what it is, so it will be in a nice highest to lowest order. Now you can always put an if error around these to show nothing if you don't want it to. Same with this one here, and just like before, you can edit these if you want to based on the naming conventions that you have. We're going to use this to create another chart, so I'm going to highlight these. Pension is 0, so I'll just highlight this. and I'm just going to make a simple bar chart like this. I'll pull this onto my dashboard, and here it is over here, and I'll just quickly edit some of this. So I'm going to remove that, remove the lines. I want it to be in railway again, and I want the font to be a bit bigger. I'm going to format the axes again. So if I come down here into number, I'll show it in thousands, and I'll put a K on the end of my format code. That will put the K on the end of this. Delete, and then I want to add data labels, and again my data labels are in thousands, so I'm going to edit those as well by coming into here, and I'll say currency, and we can have it to one decimal place, obviously with a dollar sign in this scenario. Add, and now you've got these as well, so maybe you want to fill these a dark blue, and I'll put some shadow on it again. There you go, now we've got our breakdown chart down the bottom here, just showing what the current balances are of the different assets that you have in this scenario. And then finally we want to set up our liquidity chart here, so I'll show you how I've done that. So on our budgeting data tab, we've got a few things here for your goals. So this is, as I was saying before, this is where you set your goal here, determine what year it is, and then link this to maybe the end of the year. So as I was saying before, maybe you want to link this to 1 year ago, so this is of April, so maybe I'll link it to the April before. Just want to link it to that cell there. That was going to be the end of my last year. So sorry, coming back to the liquidity chart, let's say your goal is to have 15% of your net worth. You want it to be at least 15% as cash. So here you can put that 15% in. That's going to feed through to my target here, and then based on my cash number from up here divided by my total, it's going to tell me what that is as a percentage and what other is a percentage, and then I just need to create a chart. So I'll show you the reason I had to do this is so we can have a line that intersects our bar. Okay, so to insert the liquidity chart, you're going to highlight all of this here, and we're going to insert chart, and if I click the drop down here, you can go all charts, and I want it to be a combo, and I basically want the blue to be what's the series? I think I need to switch my row and column data. Cool, here we go. So change my chart type. This needs to be a line. This is a stat column, and this is a stat column, and it will equal 100% because that's one minus the other. We're going to bring this onto our dashboard, put it on this page here. This here needs to be formatted as a percentage, so I'll drop this down to here. It's going to be percentage with no decimal places and a maximum, let's say, of 0.5 for 50%, and we'll just cap that there. And then we don't need anything down the bottom, and let's format this data series to make it look a bit wider, and our target cash, let's make that a green line, and I want it to be dashes, so it intersects nicely like that. We can fill this one again as a blue to go with our theme, and I'm going to fill this one a lighter colour like that, and then we'll get rid of everything else. put some shadow on it. Change my font. And here now you have something similar to my one. So I can move that up the top, and we will add a data label here. I want it to be thick and I want it to be white. So what's this chart essentially telling us? Telling us I only want to be holding 15% of my net worth in cash. Now this will sort of change. It's not necessarily a hard and fast rule or anything. You should likely have sort of 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up in cash. So a percentage isn't necessarily the right measure to go by. But once you've built that up, maybe you do want to keep some in cash, and then the rest you can go and invest or put into a house or things like those sorts of things. So essentially now we've got our chart set up here. Now we've got our dashboard set up here. Just want to fix this 12-month average, so we'll go investigate what's going wrong there. So essentially none of my averages are pulling through. So what's happening here? So if we remove these, so this is one that you have to update. So this is essentially saying how many periods do I have, and it's counting to get the maximum. So actually I could do this. So if I change this, it equals count A of how many dates I have in there. This will pull through how many periods I have, and then this here will do a match to find that period within the last 12 months, and then I can simply take an average of those numbers. So just to recap, what I'm saying is I need to find out what the latest period of cash is and what the last 12 have been. So to do that, I work out what the current month period is, and then I pull that for the prior 12 months, and then if I take an average of that, you get 7,800, which is what this cell here is doing, and now you have your 7,800 sitting on here. So I'll quickly just format this as well. I'll show you how to do it, and then you can format them yourself. But if you come up to timeline here, you want to right click that and hit duplicate, and you're going to call it my timeline style. Okay, come back and hover over it, make sure you select it, and then you can right click it and modify it, and you can modify all of these different pieces here. So let's say I want to modify my header, and I want to make it the same font as everything else, so we're nice and consistent. So I'm going to find railway semi-bold, let's make it 12. Let's say my whole timeline, I want to have no border, and then let's say the selected time block, I want to format that, and let's say we want to make it darker blue, like that. And you can modify this as much as you want. Hit OK, and now you can see it's updated again, and this is linked to the chart, so you can grab it and modify what you're looking at any one time based on this chart here. Great, so now we've got our dashboard all set up. Now it's all about using it. So each month you're going to come in, and or as regularly as you want to, but I do it each month, Each month you're going to come into here and come into your data tab, and what you want to do is directly underneath this date you're going to enter a new date. So let's say it was the end of May 2020. This is going to copy down, and then you enter all of your numbers, and you can simply come back to your dashboard and hit this refresh button, and you'll see now that this is updated. Now you can see that this chart here is updated. These here have also updated. Your 12-month average, you need to come into your pivot tables here, and all you're going to do is copy this formula down one cell. So you can come here and push Control D. That's going to update your 12-month average. Now your dashboard is all up to date again, and you can save this as a new month. Save this down. So you see, now you can see this person's got 40,000, up 2,000 last month, 26 on last year, and that's 185% more. So thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you guys found some value in this, and that you're going to build your own and start tracking it. Or if you just want to use this version, you can just go in and use the dates and click this refresh button here, or under the data tab you can also refresh there, and start tracking this yourselves. So drop me a question below on what you'd like to see next, or if you have any questions on this dashboard, I'm more than happy to help to get yours set up and running. If you like the video, please do like and subscribe. Share this with your friends, and as I said, you can go to the link below to download a copy of this template to use yourself. Cheers, thank you, bye.